Hello and welcome back to That's What He Said. Today I want to talk about staying connected. Now this is something my dad talks about pretty much anytime either you give him the chance or he's talking in front of a group of people because it is that important. So staying connected, super, super important. I want to start with a quote that I remember him saying. I don't know when or where, but it's a good one, so I'm going to share it with you, and we're going to talk a little bit about that and applying it to our lives. And the quote is, "We all need our tribe, our posse, our peeps. Connection is our oxygen." So we know that being connected and being isolated are kind of opposites of each other. And we know, too, that, human connection is not optimal. It is essential. And not only is it optimal, but it's essential to be order to thrive. So those right relationships build resilience, joy, and purpose. So I know when I get stressed, every time I get a nice reminder from my dad that he's like, hey, isolating's not gonna help. I'm somebody who I'm like, okay, I'm overwhelmed. I need everybody to leave me alone and let me figure this out. But really, that's not how I function. Because I am a yapper, I'm a talker. I mean, you can't really have a series where you talk to a camera where you're not a yapper, pretty much. So I would consider myself somebody who needs to talk things out. And a lot of times I don't allow myself to just talk about things. And he always tells me hey, let's not isolate, let's talk it out, or he'll just randomly call me. And I think that's important too, because not only do you need to connect, but you need to encourage the people around you to connect. Because remember, the right relationships build resilience, joy, and purpose. So if you are not promoting that either, then why would people feel connected to you? Or how would they feel connected to you? They won't. You have to give people the space. Not only do you have to give yourself the space, but you have to give people the space to connect with you. And in that way, do it in a way that's understanding, empathetic, and all that jazz, all of that. It needs to be so much their speed. And I know we've talked about the platinum rule where treat others how they need to be treated. And this is kind of the same thing. If you're not connecting with people the way they need, then you're not really connecting with them at all. Yikes. So when my dad does this, I know I get a lot more done, but also I feel a lot better when I just am processing things, because honestly, some people watching this probably think in their head, I'm thinking in my head all the time, but I'm not processing it. So I think this connection piece, connection is oxygen. And if you're isolating, you're taking that oxygen away. You're taking that life force away from yourself. And my dad frequently said, if I could say top 3 things I've heard my dad say speaking, we are hardwired for connection. We are. We're designed for it. We're meant to connect. So when you're not connecting, when you're isolating yourself in that stress or in that overwhelm or burnout or whatever it may be, you're taking away your oxygen. You're expecting yourself to gain life when really you're taking it away from yourself. So we have to also give ourselves time to be alone, of course. And if you're somebody who is a little more introspective, you might need that time alone. However, after you get that time, connect. Or if you're like me, stop isolating. You need to just yap about it. So do that. And it gets tricky because I don't think a lot of people, including myself, are really cool with being vulnerable sometimes. And that has been something I've talked about in here, something I'm working on. But I want to give you some reflection guidance points and maybe some things to think about as we try to be more connected together, shall we? So I want you to think about, who are the people in your life that fuel your energy? Who are the people that are easy to connect with? Or maybe not easy, but are more natural to connect with. I know for me, my mom, my dad, my boyfriend, my best friend, those are the people I go to connect. Those are the people that I know have my back, they're my inner circle, and also know me well enough to understand if I need a solution, they can listen to the problem and help me get there. And they understand me. That's super, super important. So who are those people that fuel your energy? So also to think about, obviously it's yes, you're doing better than you think. Connection is good, but what connections have you neglected that matter? I know for me, sometimes in college, I used to set a timer or a reminder on my phone to be hey, text this person to check how they're doing. Just so that I would make sure I was holding myself accountable, I didn't forget, and like the intentions were there and I cared about the person or I cared about the people very much, but it was like life gets busy and priorities don't always stay priorities sometimes. So you have to remind yourself about that priority to connect. Like, I want to connect with this person. I have every intention to connect with them, so I need to get out and do that. So what are those connections that you're neglecting right now? And maybe start to think about why. Maybe why are you too busy? Are you, overwhelmed? Are you burnt out? Let's take a pulse check right now. And I think the biggest thing and the biggest question I want you to reflect on today, and what I'm going to reflect on, is what does healthy connection look like for you? Now, I'll give you my example to maybe help you get the, gears turning. But for me, healthy connection is kind of a combination of things. It's a combination of being able to laugh with them and then in the next minute being able to like have a deep conversation with them. And I mean like deep conversation, like investing in each other, asking each other questions, not trying to judge or not trying to seek out answers, just trying to understand where the person is coming from, gain the empathy to like grow with them and be in that moment and be present with them and listen, just to be able to listen to them and be that connection for them. Because connection isn't always talking. Connection is presence. Connection is that listening. Connection can also be that opportunity to just have somebody that you could go to if you need them or when you need them, or if they need you, like you're that person too. So what does healthy connection look like for you? And I want you to think about too, like, how frequently is this? How frequent is, what you're talking about, what you're being introspective about, what you're journaling about. Like, healthy connection too needs to be with yourself. Like, I know for me, healthy connection with myself is playing guitar and singing worship music, or it's journaling, or it's reading, or it is like reaching out to a friend, having a good car ride, having a fruitful conversation, doing a devotional with my friend. Like that's healthy connection to me. But I want you to, and obviously like all of the activities in between, like write those down. Write it down. Don't just go, okay, that's healthy, and move on. Like, write this down. Keep yourself accountable and also track it, note it. You can't find patterns if you don't track them. So try to track those patterns for that healthy connection. And when you think about your healthy connection, what makes you tick, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, note both of those. What works, what doesn't work. You can't fit yourself into the mold of connection that other people are trying to get you in or that you feel you should be in. What connection works for you? If you take an inventory, a pulse check on yourself, what connection do you need to thrive? And run after that. So my 3 questions for you today: if you're talking about connection as oxygen, you're talking about staying connected, being hardwired for this drive, this hardwiring of connection. Who are the people that fuel your energy? What connections have you neglected? And what does healthy connection look like for you? I'm going to start figuring out those questions a little bit more in detail, and I hope you do as well. Let us know how we can help or what you're thinking, what's going on in your brain. I'd love to know. And Dad, thank you for reiterating this in the times that I get stressed or burn out or overwhelmed and I don't remember what I need. Thank you for the reminder. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this is a helpful reminder for you guys as well, and I will see you next week on That's What He Said.